Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Firewood Doctor. Got the 572 XP warming up. It's got 2 tanks of gas on that chain sharpening, and see how it does in this pine. So I go until it runs out of gas or the chain doesn't like what it is I'm cutting. So let's get going. that's about all I can get to. Last few cuts are pretty bad. hit dirt. I'm almost out of gas anyway, so. Yeah, so that was the third tank of gas. The chain got a little loose there too at the end of that tank. Is like, I went to go make a couple more cuts, it just wasn't having it. What you think is a difficulty of cutting with the difficulties of cutting with the dull chain, actually what you can't see in the camera is that there be knots, especially that one really big piece. I was cutting through a knot, and then all of a sudden I went, the saw started cutting fast through it. So when it's cross cutting, like in a sawmill situation, from like the end grain, they cut slow, which is what happens when you're cutting through a branch knot. You already cut the nub off. It's still going to have that hard grain to try to cut through that. And I was sometimes I was cutting on the log on the backside with the tip, and yeah, that chain is definitely needs a sharpening. Now there's a lot of dirt in these logs, so I'm surprised it made it that far. And at times when it sounds like it's struggling, I'm holding the saw back just so I don't suddenly cut right through, or I'm trying to control it, work on control at the same time, learning how to control the saw. I figured it's easier to do it in a soft cutting pine to learn how to control it, especially when you're working with the tip. I was working on that. A lot of things you didn't know about at the start of the video. So yeah, that's about what, that was almost the full tank. So it cut about almost 3 tanks and then one sharpening, and that Hypa saw chain holds up pretty good, I think. If I was just cutting pine and not hitting any dirt, I could go at least 3 tanks. As long as there was no embedded dirt or anything. That snow hides a lot of it, because if you're just watching my channel for the first time, these logs were hiding in dirt piles or on top of dirt piles, and they could have been sitting on the ground or had debris shot at them and stuff. So it could have been, as wood chips and everything else decompose, pine needles and that, it turns into dirt, which is very abrasive. And yeah, I know I hit dirt somewhere until the last couple of cuts. I didn't realize how bad it was, and I was like, forget it. It became a safety issue with my footing, so I couldn't get in there and get a good bite. So yeah, I got a lot of wood there. I got over 2 face cords of pine bucked up from that one. I got probably half a cord from the 288, the G288. So I got quite a bit of pine now. I just got to get the rounds stacked up and cleared out so I can get some more cutting done in that pile. But I'm cold. I just need to get a little exercise, and I'll get this wood stacked at some point, and then over the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm not sure when you're going to see this video. Let's see. Sunday, I think this will be the video the day before Thanksgiving, I think. So, anyway, folks, that was coldest I've run the G572. Oh, good gosh, the 572 XP, and it took 5 pulls to pop, and it took another attempt or two to get it to stay running, because it wasn't tuned for cold weather, and that's part of what auto tune does. It tunes itself to the weather conditions. The last time I ran it, it was like 30 degrees warmer. A big difference when it comes to fuel mixture calibration and stuff. So, and once it started and idled, it seemed to tune itself almost immediately, because it tuned pretty quick. And I don't know if I was starting to lean out just a little bit from not picking up the fuel, and that's what sounded like. And it was just cutting bad at the end, so I was like, forget it. It's not worth trying to force a couple more cuts. I forced the last few cuts, which I shouldn't have done, and I know some of you are going to say something about that. Long ago, in the if you're watching the whole video, early on, you probably thought I hit dirt, and I didn't. It was just cutting through a lot of knots and stuff. I might have ticked the dirt once and all that early on one of the first logs. I might have ticked it then, but it was still cutting good after that, relatively. So Yeah, it is. The tips are. I'm checking the tips here, and they're not too bad. That one's pretty dull. That one, yeah. Boy, I should not have been cutting that long on that chain, especially the last few minutes. That chain is dull. So, till next time, folks, take care, get out there, do something, have fun doing it, and sharpen your saws. Oh, yeah, there you are. There's the lens. Wait, you. Yeah, you. Right there, you. The guy in the video. Sharpen your saws. Bye, folks.